am Dina Cotter, and today we are going to discuss green tea, the benefits of green tea, what to look for in green tea, and how do we compare green tea with other teas. Green tea comes from a plant called the Camellia sinensis plant, and it's the same plant that we get white tea from, and we also get black tea from. Now, white tea is the spring buds of the camellia plant, and when that's harvested, you get white tea. And white tea has a much lighter color. It's almost white. It's sort of like a beige, creamy color when you compare it to green tea. And then green tea is harvested from the same plant when the tea leaves are mature and the green as possible. And black tea is actually the fermented tea leaves once they've been plucked from the plant. So let's now take a look at what are some of the ways or the different types that the teas are actually called. The one that has the most antioxidant benefit is sencha. Sencha green tea is very commonly referred to as Japanese green tea. Most of you are familiar with that. And we also have one that some of you may be familiar with called Genmai matcha, which is actually the green tea with roasted brown rice. And it has sort of like a roasted, crispy taste to the tea, and actually quite tasty, but often taken with a meal because it does aid digestion. And typically people in Japan, that's how they would normally have their green tea with the meal. And then we also have matcha green tea, which is another type of green tea. It often comes in a powdered form, that's how it's often drunk, and often gives a really green color to your water, and it looks like a very bright green tea. All these different types of teas are actually grown in Japan, and that's where the Japanese have been known to have one of the best longevity because of the fact that they do drink a lot of green tea. So now we're going to take a look at the benefits that we actually derive from having green tea in our diet. Why should we have a cup of green tea, rather than a cup of coffee? So when we take a look at the benefits, the primary benefit we get from green tea are what we call antioxidants. And the major antioxidant in green tea that has the best health promoting benefit is called ECGC, and is known to help us fight free radicals. It also has actually antibacterial properties. It helps us fight infection and therefore ultimately diseases. Other benefit to drinking green tea, of course, is helping us to prevent heart disease. We know that green tea actually prevents the platelets from coagulating, which means the red blood cells, preventing them from sticking together, because that's one of the ways that we actually form plaque along the artery walls in our body. And green tea is able to prevent that whole process. It can also help us lower cholesterol. It can also lower blood pressure. So I often recommend at least having 3 cups a day to help us, in those areas. We now know that people who have blood sugar issues, particularly if they have diabetes, whether it's type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, green tea is very helpful at helping to lower blood sugar. So it should be part of your daily diet because of that benefit. And finally, weight loss, which of course is the majority of your concern. And green tea is very helpful at suppressing appetite, particularly when it's drunk hot, as opposed to when it's drunk cold. So if you drink green tea very hot, it can have a very significant effect at reducing your appetite. If you don't like the taste of green tea, you can also take green tea in a supplement form, in a capsule form, provided it's the green tea extract, not just the green tea leaves. And in the green tea extract form, it will have the same appetite suppressing effect as if you're drinking, 2 or 3 cups of green tea a day. The other advantage to green tea, when they've compared it in weight loss studies, is the fact that it has a thermogenic effect on your body. And if something has a thermogenic effect on your body, it means that it actually raises your body temperature up, and that in itself helps you to burn more calories. It almost mimics exercising, because when you exercise, your body temperature goes up, you sweat, and therefore you burn more calories, and you get your whole fat metabolism moving. And that's exactly how the green tea is able to work on the human body as well. So very useful in weight loss programs. And it doesn't matter what type of a program you're on, it would be at the very least something to include in your weight loss program. So let's take a look at how to properly brew a cup of green tea. The water should be just under boiling, And now we're going to see how we actually dip the tea bag or dunk it into the hot water, and we keep dunking it to help get water all through the tea bag itself to penetrate the tea bag, and that helps to release the catechins, which are the antioxidants that provide the benefit to the green tea. Now, the less time you let the bag steep, the less caffeine you will get from the tea bag itself. So I normally recommend, for those of you who are caffeine sensitive, no more than 3 minutes of the tea bag into the hot water. Those of you who want the caffeine advantage, then make sure the water is actually boiling, and that releases more caffeine but much less of the antioxidants, because the heat will end up destroying the antioxidants in the green tea bag. So what should we look for when we're buying green tea? The most important thing to look for is organic, and preferably certified organic. Those of you who've never had green tea before, you'll see that on the label when you purchase a bag or a box of green tea. Because green tea is very heavily sprayed with pesticides and herbicides, and those cannot be removed once the tea leaves have been processed. So that's very important. Those of you who are trying the green tea for the first time, make sure that you purchase the tea bags, preferably unbleached, because the chlorine and the bromine in the bleached tea bags will interfere with the antioxidants in the green tea. So that will make a huge difference too. That's important. Those of you who are very familiar with green tea and would like to try something more, I would strongly recommend that you try loose green tea, because of the fact that it's not in a tea bag form. It has more surface area, and that will encourage more of the infusion, which you get more better antioxidants benefit as a result from the tea. And finally, if you are really courageous, then try either sencha or matcha green tea powder, because you dissolve that in warm to just under boiling hot water, and that gives you even more benefit, because you're actually physically taking in all the tea leaves that you're drinking in a powdered form. Also, the other advantage to sencha and matcha powders is that they have much less caffeine compared to the tea bags or the loose green tea. And incidentally, 1 cup of coffee is equivalent to 7.5 cups of green tea. And even black tea is equivalent, to 7.5 cups of green tea. So there's much less caffeine in green tea when you compare it to other forms of teas. So let me take this opportunity now to thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to being with you all at a later date.